Hello everyone and welcome to a special presentation of the Government Information Service. They say that young men are in crisis. I beg to differ. I have some young men with me today who are an example of what we call young men doing positive, real positive energies, and they are influencing other young people. So we say that our young people in Grenada are in crisis, then we should look again. We have examples of those who are doing very positive things, and today we're going to talk with a group we call Soul Deep. They are all male band, and they operate right here in Grenada for the time being, and they're very good. You'll hear them as we go along in this interview, and you'd realize, wow, there's something wonderful actually happening with young men in Grenada. So my extreme left, I have Kevin Isaac, and he is the keyboard player, and he's also a background vocalist. And then we have Jeremy Hector. He's the guitarist and the band leader and drummer and background vocalist. We have Josh Hector. Welcome to our GIS program.
Thank you.
I'm very glad to have all of you.
I'm
particularly interested in young men because we struggle to find some who are really doing positive things. So let's talk a little bit about music. Let's start with you, Kevin. When did you start to play, and what was the journey like for you?
Well, let's see. I would have started playing at the seriously playing. But I can't say seriously playing. When I started to play, would have been at the age of 17, and then seriously playing, I would say that it would have been about, say, 21 or so. Like when I started to understand the whole mechanic.
And was that a long time ago to where you are now? Not so long.
I would say so, yeah.
Jeremy, what about you?
Yeah, I started at age 4. I started playing the piano, classical, and at about age 14, 15, I started playing the guitar. There's a funny story behind that, because after Ivan, I didn't have power to turn my keyboard on, so I just picked up the guitar and I never put it down.
Wow. Wow. Josh?
Yeah, well, I started playing we started playing at age 6, not 4.
6?
Yeah. 6. And yeah, we both started with the piano together, and learning classical though, sight reading and stuff like that. And that went on to about age 10. And then we kind of started branching off. So I stuck on the drum, started playing the drums, and that was it. I didn't go anywhere else.
We must establish Josh and Jeremy are brothers, twins actually.
Yeah.
Right. So it means that we've been, when it comes to this particular group, let's talk a little bit about Soul Deep. What does that mean?
Well, it's funny. We were struggling to find a name, and interestingly, soul_deep was his email address ever since. I don't know if that was prophetic or whatever, but when we decided, okay, Soul Deep would be the name, the whole concept behind it was to play music that would come from the depths of our soul, so that it could connect with other people on that level. So it's not just you would feel good while you're hearing it, but then that feel good moment doesn't just end, music ends. After you go home, and you could still remember it, and it can still impact you.
It's supposed to invade the soul.
Yeah.
Oh, how did you bring a group together? I know that you've been playing, so I guess you play at church and you play in other areas even as a young person, because I'm witness to those two playing, because I remember them as very, very young, very good at a very young age. And you decided you wanted to bring a group together. What kind of discussion, what kind of mindset went into actually getting you like you to come together in a band like this?
Right.
Fortunately, it wasn't hard because of the guys we knew. we grew up around them. They went to different churches, but we played together from time to time. So when it came to finding people, we knew exactly who we wanted to ask to join. How we met Cavell was very peculiar, because he came from Tobago and he was on his way to leave again. And we saw him on the road and we said, he was with somebody in a vehicle and we said, you need to meet with us because we starting a band. And he said, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, he said, okay, like he was just coming to hear what it was about. And that was it. He came
so
and
I like to know where
never left.
You got the notion. Said I like to know where you got the notion to rock the boat. I don't rock the boat, baby. Rock the boat. I don't tip the boat over. Rock the boat. I don't rock the boat, baby. Rock the boat. Yeah, yeah. Ever since our voyage of love began, your touch has thrilled me like the rush of the wind, and your arms have held me safe from the rolling sea. There's always been a quiet place to hurry and kneel. Our love is like a ship on the ocean. We've been sailing with a cargo full of love and devotion. Yes, so I like to know where you got the notion. Said I like to know where you got the notion to rock the boat and don't rock the boat, baby. Don't tip the boat over. Rock the boat and don't rock the boat, baby. Rock the boat.
So Jeremy, tell me, when it comes to, some people say, okay, you learn to play at a young age and you are accustomed playing, but when you come together in a band, what kind of adjustments are necessary?
Well, my background is playing in church with just a bass guitarist and a drummer. So in that type of setting, you have to really be yeah, that's the word, competent, and you have to do a lot of playing to make up for the other instruments.
Right.
But in a band now, what you need to be careful to not do is to step on other people's toes. Like, I have a space that I'm supposed to be playing in, and I can be playing bass on the guitar and stepping on the bass man. So it's like, in a band setting, you need to kind of rein in yourself and play as a band musician, and it's not about how you sound as an individual, but the contribution you're making to the band.
Wow, they call that the stars, because I remember listening to bands, and I am very close to music, because you know my husband also play. I think the drummer will know my husband, because
Your husband taught me.
so but people, everybody wants to star.
Right.
And so you have Josh playing like really loud, and then that throws everything off. How do you maintain the balance? Do you have training? How do people understand what it is that they have to do?
We're blessed to have disciplined musicians, musicians who understand what it is to be band musicians. So we never had to say, guys, like, too much, or we never had to do that, because everybody just came in and they knew exactly where they had to be.
Yeah.
That, how important is that?
Very important, because that will determine if you're gonna stay right here and make moss, or you go get to leave or become something bigger than something big.
It's so important about it. It's almost hopeless, because you would hear people saying the band sounds tight. You probably would have heard that before.
I heard that.
When they say that, they mean that there's nothing overhanging. Everything is on point. There's no muddiness in the mix.
Right. So it's as if it's one person playing.
As if it's one song.
What's your mission?
Our mission is really positive influence. That's core of it. We understand that music is powerful, and as a result, we're channeling that power to move people positively, to uplift people who are feeling depressed, or whatever, people who are going through challenges. When they hear us, they should feel lifted, and even people who are happy and enjoying life as well, they should also be impacted in a positive way by the message in our music.
And when it comes to message, give us a sense of how you choose your song to ensure that it kind of continue to support that mission that you got. Jeremy, let me hear what you have to say on that.
Well, for me, music, in a sense, without words, is just a platform. So the key thing to look at is the lyrical content of the songs, and whether or not they are in line with what you believe and what you're trying to promote. If it's not in line, then obviously that's a big for us.
Wow, you're touching on a very, very controversial kind of topic there, because some people say that music is amoral. That means it doesn't have right or wrong, but it's about how you portray or accept. You believe that music in itself is
it's just a platform. It's like the wind blowing. It's from a fan, and which direction you turn it influences what it does. You know, that kind of thing.
That's true.
Wow. Tell me what you think.
Same thing I would say is like music without the lyrics in it is just something neutral, like a tool, you know.
Yeah.
And then you put lyrics in it, and then it drives it forward, you know. It's like if you're somebody's a poet, you might sit down and listen to the words and thing, but sometimes if you put music behind it, it does come across differently. Yeah.
But you have this argument about say the music industry being influenced by satanic forces and so on. To give me a sense of what you think about that.
Wow.
And so it depends on who is the originator of the music.
That's a hot topic.
Yeah, I know.
But the thing about it is, at the end of the day, it boils down to the artist and what they stand for and what they are willing to do or not do in order to get themselves out there.
So how do you ensure that what you actually playing, because you're all Christians, right?
Yes, we are.
Right. So ensure that what you play stay clean and pure to your own Christian values.
But you're asking in terms of if we would play a song that
Like,
somebody
it depends on
would have.
the kind of song that you choose to play. Give us a sense of what they like, because you don't only play gospel, you play other music as well.
My not just my view on it, but if you look at it from good versus evil, you'd realize that because we understand the nature of God, we know that nothing negative can come from him. Likewise, no positive can come from the devil. So a song about that is promoting peace, whether or not a gospel artist sings that song, it can't be a devil song. You understand what I mean?
Okay.
Because of the message of peace, which is biblical. Right. So that's the answer on it. People, I guess, can get kind of caught up in the idea of well, it's not a gospel artist, but at the end of the day, you know, you have persons doing gospel music, and you have to wonder what are you really singing. So you could find people on both ends who are actually positively influencing the masses.
Wow, Kavel, what do you think about that?
I'm not sure if I have much to say about that one, because it's an argument that everybody does. It's almost like a non-ending,
a hot debate.
Yeah, just keep going round and thing. At the end of the day, like what Josh said, that is basically how I would stand with it. It's just nothing good could come from the devil, basically. And we just promote unity, love, peace, things that would be what God would definitely endorse. That is what he stands with, his nature, you know. So at the end of the day, I would definitely do this and still do gospel music at the same time, because it's all part of
and they're not clashing with each other.
No.
Let me just say that, you know, there are persons who you would hear them say, well, I used to do gospel music, or I grew up in. That's not this band here.
Started in church and then went out.
Because, you know, we would want people to understand that it's never stopped and it won't stop, because everything that we do comes out of that, you know. So because what happens is that when persons grow up
say in the church and they're doing well, and as soon as they begin to do very well, they begin to go out of the framework of the church and begin to play for bands that are not promoting spiritual, and then they see, that this boy is a very good drummer, so we pull him out to do this or do that, and then people, because at church sometimes you don't get much money, then people think, oh, somebody out there giving you money, then maybe I should go and make a little money. Jeremy smiling.
I mean,
no money at all.
The thing is, though, it's not a money thing. It's not a boy, I just want to make money. We're building something, and we're building it from the ground up. We're not running after money, and it's a lot of hard work.
So let's talk a little bit about the process, because I know in talking with you earlier on, your practice is unthinkable. I can't even imagine how you practice for such a long time. Let's talk about it. I really want to leave this because I realize a lot of persons in Grenada, they're only thinking about going abroad and maybe making it big, as some people would say, but they forget the fundamentals of what it takes to make it.
The thing is, in my experience, like my first major paying gig, I would say, when I got it, I realized how much I didn't know about performing, because it's one thing to be able to play. Yeah, I could play, but can I? It's a case where you have to learn how to perform. So people who want to just up and run abroad, and they would reach out there and realize it is not just an easy thing to walk into.
It's a cold world.
So yeah,
they know nothing.
Right.
So how is it different then?
Performing and playing. Well, playing by yourself is one thing. It's like you don't have to worry about connecting with anyone. You don't have to worry about anyone looking at being
judgmental.
Right. It's like my persona on stage has to be one that's interesting to people looking. It can't just be about, because they're not listening to me with closed eyes.
Right.
So it's like that has to be one of the key things, learning to perform.
Interesting.
On the note of practice, though, we would have been practicing like 15 hours a week.
Wow, 15 hours.
Right, not no.
Right.
Because
to get to this point.
Because we started performing, but like before we got gigs and so on, we actually would just spend all the time just practicing. Might have seemed like a waste of time.
Yeah, we did that for like
but we did that for like 6 months.
Wow.
Just practicing. Not only just to get songs, but to develop, because we come from different musical backgrounds. So, at first we were sounding kind of,
there was tension.
There was tension, and we had to take that time.
There's the uncertainty. So that means that when you're practicing, not some people practice, you have a gig next week, they just begin to practice, but like your practice is like your lifestyle. You practice and practice whether you have a gig or not. That takes tremendous discipline. So let's talk about that.
I don't know about the discipline part. It's just, for me, it's just because I love to do it. It's not, you don't feel like work or anything like that. So like, wake up in the morning and I might just wake up under that whole kind of vibe going on, and I practice whole day. I move from that spot for the whole day in front of the instrument.
It's just a love for it.
Oh my God.
Because there's no better feeling than discovering something new on the instrument, and there's so much to learn that desire to just cover new things just keeps you going and going.
If you also roll out a chart of what music is about and the things you have to learn, you'll have to roll out the chart across the room. A lot of stuff.
You get to think
across
how
the
far
room
you are.
I'm just saying.
Across the room and beyond. But the thing is, though, another thing is understanding what you want. If you want to be a sprinter, for example, you don't sit on Facebook all day, or you eat things, you don't eat certain things.
Right.
So if this is, a lot of people are saying, well, I want this thing and I love it, but they don't really behave like if they want it. And because as much as you love it and enjoy it, there will be a time when it's not enjoyable. So what happens then?
Right.
has come. Grenada, dance and sing. We share the joy this island vibe can bring. Some people tell me they really want to know how I love you so indefinitely. Our day has come. Grenada, wear a smile. No tears for us.
I know. Tell me how you think parents' input. How important is your parental input? Because if you start playing at 4, and that brought in you this kind of love for music, what part did your parents play in that process?
My father is a guitarist.
Yes.
I grew up listening.
A very good one.
Yeah, I grew up listening to him and looking at his fingers, and it's like, wow, I want to be like him. I want to, do that. And at the same time, not only listening to him, he would be playing a lot of music that I got an appreciation for at an early age. So the influence was there. I was hearing it. I was looking at him. So it's like, and then he bought me a guitar. So I mean, that was just channeling me in that direction. So for me, that was a main influence.
As a young man, I mean, think about the parental. Most young people, they grow up when they get big. They want a little girlfriend or 2 or 3 girlfriends, and
they don't want a little girlfriend when they get big.
And give us a sense of your own personal walk, some of the challenges that you face as young men. And now that you're out there, you're handsome and you have it together apparently. So, what kind of challenges? What kind of challenges do you face? Josh?
Honestly, to say that I am challenged would be incorrect.
Okay.
Because I mean, I'm not saying that life is perfect and I've never been challenged, but it's a matter of just having your head on and knowing what you stand for. Because I remember one time I was sitting with a group of guys and they were count the number of girls that they had, and some of them saying, "Well, I can't even count." And I said, I took a step back and I said, "Is that something to celebrate? Because I don't understand it."
Right.
So yeah, so to say that I'm challenged, I thank God that I'm stable enough, to know what I want, and I don't know, I can't talk for the rest. I guess I can't talk for
Joshua.
I don't feel
Jeremy.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think for me, one of the things that I learned early was how to keep myself away from certain negative influences. Like, you don't find me liming, wasting time, idle. So that protects